This is Sarah Viscarando with the After School Enrichment Accelerator, and I'm here talking with Rose Lani Oyamot from Rose Lani Music. Hi, Rose.
Hi, aloha.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, gosh, thank you so much for asking me to be here today. I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited.
How did you start your
Sure.
business?
I go by Rose Lani Music. So my full-time job is being a children's library specialist in a public library. Now, when I started 10 years ago and I was learning children's songs, um, I did all the typical traditional songs, but something for me was missing. And what I noticed was there was kind of a lack of or hole in more more representation in music. And for me personally, being a Filipino Hawaiian, I could not find any songs or music that really represented my background. And I thought it was so important to have something out there for kids because they could see themselves in the music and also be proud of who they are.
What I just heard you say is you are a librarian, you work with children, did circle times, and saw that there wasn't representation of you, and you built it,
That
right?
is that is correct. Yes,
So
that's
in
it.
you've had fabulous response to this.
Oh, yes. I found that I did have a just arms wide open response to the music. Because I'd love to mention, when I was growing up in the 80s, and I grew up, when I was a kid, I grew up in Hawaii, and there was no mainstream books or music by people who looked like me. So it was really important to me, especially being in the Midwest. So I'm in Minnesota, to bring that representation because we're all here
Yeah.
and representation matters. Because if you don't see yourself, sometimes you don't know that you can be that thing. So in my story times, I actually started off playing guitar because for a long time, since my teens, I play guitar. But I quickly realized it was a little too big and maybe a little too clunky for story times. I was always afraid I was gonna like knock a kid down or something because it's such a large instrument. So I switched over to playing ukulele, which really, really brought the music out in me. It's such a charismatic, happy instrument and little. And from
Charismatic and happy is how I would
yeah,
describe children.
I grew up, like I mentioned, in Hawaii, and my grandfather, whom we call Papa and his brothers would play guitar and ukulele like all the time, and it just drew everyone in.
Well, and you make it sound like it's part of the spirit of your childhood.
Absolutely, I can see that. I'm just going back to my roots.
So you don't just do this at your circle time.
I play music all over the place. So I started playing children's music and writing children's songs because of my library storytime kids. I noticed that, well, I wanted to learn more songs on ukulele just for children. And I could not find one YouTube channel that just had children's music on ukulele and how to play it. And
Mhm.
so I realized that, hey, I can play ukulele. Why do I keep searching for these songs? I'll learn the songs and I'll put it out for others to learn because maybe they're looking for the very same thing that I am. And so I created Ukulele Storytime, and I did that for many years. Um, and then I just got really busy. So with full-time work, family, and all this stuff. But I love doing it. I got a great response from librarians, educators, just anyone who wanted to learn how to play ukulele for kids with only 3 chords. I started doing virtual story times for my own library, but because of ukulele story time and people getting to know me at my public library, other library systems in Minnesota started contacting me and hiring me to do virtual story times for their library systems. And it just grew and grew and grew. And from there, once we were able to do in person programs again, I just continued to get hired um, at all these different library systems and festivals and stores and other events.
So tell me about the Rosy Posies.
Oh, the Rosy Posies. So the Rosy Posies are my backing band. And so I typically do most of my programs and concerts solo. But when I do have an opportunity to bring in my band, I love bringing in my two good friends, Caitlin Lusick, who is an amazing percussionist. She is a percussionist, drummer, and marimbist, and she plays other instruments as well. And she plays all over the Twin Cities and beyond. And my good friend Kathleen Conger, and we call her Ms. Kathleen. And Ms. Kathleen is on bass. Ms. Kathleen is also a librarian and does story times. So Caitlin is also a music educator.
Ideal working circumstances, like to be hired, what do you look for in the places that call you?
First, it needs to be a place that welcomes everyone, all ages, all genders, everyone, all abilities. So, libraries would be
Right.
great. I'd
You
say
mentioned stores.
independent bookstores are really great because they can do what they like to do. Everyone.
What kind of growth goals do you have?
I typically have done a lot of programs in the Twin Cities, so Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the surrounding areas. This past summer, I had a mini music tour in southern Minnesota. My goal is to record my very first children's album so that it can reach everyone. So one of my other hometowns is Las Vegas. Then my dad was in the military. We were stationed in Las Vegas, and so I still go back and forth to Las Vegas to visit family. And I've done programs in Las Vegas at the Natural History Museum, and I've also done programs virtually in other places like in Washington and Spain. So,
Spain?
and the biggest goal is Japan. Right now, I'm doing a crowd fund to help fund this first children's album. And I didn't know what I had to offer other than, doing concerts or personalized videos and messages or classroom or library visits. And my dad, who's in Las Vegas, and he's very crafty, he just said, "What do you want me to make you?" And I was like, "I don't know. I have a 3D printer, I have a laser engraver. What do you want?" So my dad makes these ukulele earrings
Oh
as
gosh,
my,
they're
and
cute.
now they're my merch. Hold them up right here. So he makes this,
Oh,
and he makes little keychains, and he makes mugs. A picture of my cat Kevin on it. He's playing guitar. Stickers. Maybe I can show. Oh, there's a little kitty cat. That's not the mug, but stickers and such. What I'm learning is that people love going to the concerts, people love going to the programs, but they want to take a piece of that home with them. They
right.
want something tangible, and they don't necessarily have CD players anymore. Yeah, I'm working on the merch, and eventually I do want to write books, like turn my songs into books, but specifically to support and share part of my heritage, which is Filipino Hawaiian. And I've gotten connected with a group called Native Hawaiian Storytellers, a nonprofit organization, and preserves Native Hawaiian culture. Just like with my songs, I thought, oh, I want a song. Why can't I find a song about ukuleles and having it pronounced ukulele, the
Right.
Hawaiian word, because it's a Hawaiian word. Um, by the way, there's no Y or Y sound in the Hawaiian language and
So
alphabet.
everyone who's saying you is wrong?
Yes, and I was wrong for so many years. I didn't realize it until my mid 20s. That's why I want to write it into my songs, write what little I do know about Hawaiian language, Olelo Hawaiian language and culture, and my stories, my family stories, into books, because that's a way to learn. That's a way to share. And so that's another way I would like to grow.
Really looking forward to continuing to hear about how this goes because as Kindie goes, it's unique and very fun and can do very well to travel all around, more than libraries, if you ask me.
Actually, about a year ago, I learned about an amazing group called, or organization called the Children's Music Network. They opened up my world. I'm so amazed with everyone there. And the first year that I joined, I went to their virtual conference. And that was great. I got to share a song and I got to hear and meet other children's musicians, new musicians, and musicians who have done this for quite a while and had such experience. I had no idea such a world existed. This year, I finally went to my first Children's Music Network conference back in September, and it was the conference was in Los Angeles. And meeting everyone in person was just amazing. I was inspired. I made friendships. Children's musicians are the most fun and eclectic and supportive people I've ever known. So, so Children's Music Network is a big support for me. And I have to mention the Storytime Solidarity, and that is a group of librarians and library professionals and educators who come together to share library resources. And myself and two other members of Storytime Solidarity, we put together a curriculum to teach educators and librarians how to play ukulele at Storytime. So
Fabulous.
yeah, so it's on Niche Academies. So, like you mentioned and said, just having curriculum in bite sizes is really great.
Well, this has been so wonderful. I want to
Um,
continue to hear about what happens. I certainly follow you on YouTube, and I can't wait to hear about how your Kickstarter goes because the
Thank you.
16th is the deadline, right?
Yes, and it's on Rocket Fuel. Rocket Fuel is my platform for where you can find my merch, my new merch that my dad just made, or donate. And the deadline is December 16th.